Welcome to Talking to Myself. I'm Carol Paur, author of Is a Snore Snores, and a whole lot of other books and movies waiting on the sidelines to be produced. How are you doing? I hope great. Spring is in the air. Flowers are poking up everywhere, especially dandelions. Do you like dandelions? I do. I used to look for red ladybugs resting on top of the yellow fluff. Did I tell you I like ladybugs? Back to dandelions. They look like mini chrysanthemums. Can you say that word? Yeah, I can't either. Let's try it again. Chrysanthemums. I had to use the internet pronunciation key. A lot of people don't like dandelions in their yards. I guess the part I don't like is when they all shrivel up before they go to seed. The yellow part I love. When they go to seed, there's that globe on the top of the stem. They call those seed heads. I love those as well. Those who hate dandelions probably hate the seed heads too, because that means more dandelions. Last month, we talked about being perfect, plastic perfect, and that causes a lot of anxiety when we think we have to be perfect in every situation. We also talked about bullies. They cause anxiety too. Remember what I said about them? They're the problem, not you. Today, I want to talk about learning to accept who you are. The good, the not so good, the ugly, the beautiful, the messy, the clean, the polite, the not so polite. No, I'm not giving you permission to be rude or mean, but I'm giving permission to you to just accept yourself. We can't make progress for good until we accept ourselves. If you're constantly feeling worried or insecure in who you are, how can you make the world better? Because isn't that really what life is all about? As we improve ourselves, we're improving the world around us. But if all we see is the negative in us, how can we work for the positive? When I wrote Is a Snore Snores, it was just a story for my daughter about a snoring baby. When I decided to make it into a book, I knew I needed a theme. You know what a theme is, right? It's the big picture. It's the meaning of the story. The theme of Is a Snore Snores is a Snora needs to learn to accept herself, snoring and all. One way of learning to accept yourself is to have positive inner dialogue. You need to say positive things to yourself every day. I want to quote one of my favorite people, Matthew Kelly. He's an author. He goes all over the country, all over the world, giving all sorts of inspirational talks. Here's what he said. I have it pasted on my desk with a whole lot of other positive notes. It's what he says. When you speak to yourself, let your interior dialogue be confident, optimistic, and visionary. Dare to live the life most people only fantasize about. What does that mean? Stop telling yourself that you're stupid, fat, ugly, have pimples, or if you're my age, wrinkles, that you're unlikable, that you have no friends. It goes on and on, how negative we can be. Just stop. I know it's hard to fight those thoughts. I struggle with them myself. Just the other day, I looked in the mirror and said, I look pathetic. Why did I need to say that? What is inside us telling us to have these negative thoughts? Lots of things, I guess. But let's move forward. Let's start having positive vibes so we can do positive things in our world. I found this great article online that gives concrete examples to help us to have that positive self-talk. I'm not going to cite everything from the article, but the author has some great ideas. It's called 15 Ways to Practice Positive Self-Talk for Success by Dr. Magdalena Battles. She's a psychologist, and it's from the Life Hack website. I think what I really liked about her article is she talked about having a higher purpose than just ourselves and our life here on earth. Faith in God or some higher being can actually help us how we look at ourselves. She also mentions being grateful. That's something I've blogged about a lot. It's something we have to do every day, not just Thanksgiving. Another thing I don't like about myself, and I think a lot of us, we don't like how we look. We're not very grateful for the way we look. We look at ourselves and we think, for me, I don't like my teeth. And when I take pictures, I don't like smiling. Now, how can I take that negative and turn it into a positive? How can I take it and make it a moment of being grateful, of being thankful? Well, I am happy I have teeth. I have teeth so I can chew. I like to eat. That's a good thing. I also am very grateful for my dentist and the dental hygienist. They all keep my teeth healthy, and I like to visit them every 6 months because they're friendly. How about you? What is it that you don't like about yourself? How can you turn that around to be grateful? I also can tell myself my looks are my looks. I'm grateful I can see and hear and taste and smell, walk and run, use the bathroom, have friends, loved ones. I have so much to be thankful for. And if I take and get myself out of that negative thinking and just turn it into being thankful, it changes everything for my day. The article also talks about not comparing yourself to others. Do you compare yourself to others? It's funny, just this morning at breakfast, I was talking to my two of my daughters, Monica and Bridget, and I started comparing myself to someone. And Monica said, "Mom, stop comparing yourself to others." And I said, "That's going to be on my YouTube. How did you know that?" So when we compare, a lot of times we're looking at other people and we think they have a better life than us, right? You see people with, having straight A's, or the perfect athletes, or the perfect performers. We read magazines or scroll through the internet. All these perfect, beautiful people who are accomplishing all sorts of wonderful things. And ourselves, we think, I'm nothing. This just happened to me at my daughter's graduation ceremony. When the professors read off all the wonderful accomplishments of the other professors and the guest speaker, I felt pretty darn insignificant. I thought, boy, I'm doing nothing with my life. You notice when you go to these things, they never read off the failures, right? Professor Smith failed his freshman year of college, right? You only hear their bright, shiny accomplishments. They're usually about 20 pages long. Blah, blah, blah. Do I sound a little jealous? Yeah, maybe I have a problem accepting myself. I like what Dr. Magdalena says, and I'm going to quote her. Are you ready? You can always find others who are better off than you or worse off than you. It's more important to concentrate on yourself and on being grateful for your own life. Live your life and stop making any comparisons. Good stuff, huh? She also writes about being positive to those around you. we get focused on the negative. You listen to the news, you talk to other people. There's a lot of negativity all around us, right? I cook every day for my kids. I'm a busy person, and then I have to stop what I'm doing to make dinner because it's important for us to eat as a family. When my husband, when my kids say, "Hey, Mom, this is a great meal," or "Mom, thank you for cooking for us," that really makes my day. You know, I could be having a bad day, and those positive comments help me. And so think about yourself. Think about being positive. At school, to your teacher, maybe you might want to thank a teacher. Say, "Hey, thank you, Mrs. Smith." I use Smith a lot. For teaching, right? Just be positive. All right, I like another thing that Dr. Magdalena says, and it's about do not fear failure. Do you fear failure? I fear failure. We want to look like we're at the top of our game, don't we? We want everybody to think, boy, she really has it all together. He really has it all together. Fear of failure. I see a lot of people who are afraid to do anything. They're so afraid to fail, so they're like statues. They don't do anything with their lives. They're just very comfortable because they're afraid to be judged. They're afraid their lives are going to fall apart, so they don't want to do anything. I think a great exercise for anyone who fears failure is to get on the internet. There are lots and lots of stories of famous people who failed and failed and failed, but they kept going. And that's my challenge to you. If you fear failure, do it. Check it out. There are a lot of great people out there who failed a lot. I think Dr. Magdalena also mentions that when things don't go your way, so maybe you flunked a math test or your project didn't work. She talks about work. Sometimes you fail a project at work and your boss yells at you. Do not, in your brain, do not say, "I am a failure." Okay, just stop that, right? Don't go there. Don't go into that failure mode, right? It's a waste of time. It takes a lot of negative, energy out of you. Just say, "Okay, maybe I didn't do this right, but I'm going to turn this around," all right? So, the doctor talks about a lot of other things, but I'm just going to mention 3 other topics that she talked about. One thing she mentioned, I think it's so valuable, is limit the amount of news that you're taking in. Now, most of you are probably not watching the news, but I think many of you are on the internet, right? You're on your phones, you're streaming, you're binge streaming, you're scrolling through, looking at memes. Limit the things that keep you from living your life. I think that's what I want to say. When we're so plugged in to the news or the internet or the celebrities or the memes, we're not taking time to really live our life. The world needs to be explored by you. Please get rid of those handheld devices and pay attention to what's going on around you. I think another way to have those positive thoughts to help you accept yourself is to help other people. Sometimes we're so caught up in our own lives, our own problems, that we forget there are so many people out there that need help. All right, the other thing the doctor talks about is making sure we're getting some exercise. Are you exercising every day? Do you do some kind of action or movement? You do know what a sloth is, right? It's a very, very slow animal. It moves very, very slowly. That moss grows all over it. Do you have moss growing on you? Probably not. we are not sloths. I have to tell my daughter Monica that. The sloth is her spirit animal. We were made to move. And before we had animals or had cars to drive us around, we walked or ran. Moving and exercise is a part of who we were designed to be. So, do you have to run a marathon every day? Of course not, right? Just some movement. Maybe you could ask someone to go on a walk with you. Maybe take a trip to the park. Get on your bike, your scooter, your skateboard, right? If those are not options, jog in place. Do some jumping jacks. Just move and you're going to start feeling better, okay? And for some people, you have to take little tiny steps, but just get started. Are you accepting yourself yet? It'll take time and lots of practice. Every day you're going to have to work at it. It's like brushing your teeth. You do brush your teeth, right? Say something nice to yourself every day, because remember, you're awesome. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Hey, I want to thank Tate Media and podcast partners for producing Talking to Myself. They were very fun to work with, very professional, and the studio is fantastic. So, if you're looking for a professional podcast, contact Tate Media.